What's up, guys? Welcome back to DCA. What we're going to do is take a look at this leaked press release by the United States Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen. This was a press release that was supposed to be given out tomorrow, but it was leaked one day early, came out a few hours ago, and as you can guess, based on the fact that Bitcoin is now trading at $41,600 when we were just at $38,600 a few hours ago, that the contents of this release are bullish for the market. So in this video, I want to quickly talk about why that is and what this may mean going forward. So if you're unaware, President Biden is soon to give out an executive order on the regulation of the cryptocurrency asset class or digital assets. So the first thing I'll say is this: none of the specifics regarding President Biden's executive order are exactly detailed here. But what it does is it broadly defines what President Biden hopes to accomplish during his presidency regarding regulation. So you basically had a lot of perhaps justified concern that President Biden was going to take a hardline stance in regards to his regulation of digital assets with this executive order. But with this statement that's been released, I think this sort of clarifies a lot of things, or at least gives us an idea of what direction he's going to take. And there's some real positives in here. Okay, so one of the first lines of the press release, President Biden's historic executive order calls for a coordinated and comprehensive approach to digital asset policy. This approach will support responsible innovation. And I think that's a telling sentence. So there's a few key lines in here, and I think this is one of them. This will support responsible innovation. And I think, that is taking the stance that the digital asset class is innovation. And I think that's been key here because, we've heard rhetoric to the contrary, that cryptocurrency is nothing but a Ponzi scheme, that cryptocurrency is used by criminals, that cryptocurrency is used by individuals selling drugs on the dark web. When you hear someone like Janet Yellen take the stance that they will support responsible innovation, it's an admission that this asset class is an improvement upon the existing banking system. And there's more evidence to that in the rest of the press release. So then it goes on to say that this innovation, this responsible innovation, could result in substantial benefits for the nation, consumers, and business. So this is telling us that the administration is taking the stance that yes, cryptocurrency is the innovation, it is the improvement to our banking system that we have known it is all along. And they're admitting to the fact that, these changes will result in benefits to the nation, to consumers, and to businesses. So this next part is my favorite line. Under the executive order, Treasury will partner with interagency colleagues to produce a report on the future of money and payment systems. And so again, this is just an admission of the innovative change that cryptocurrency brings about. They go so far as to call digital assets the future of money and payment systems. And I think that's kind of all, realistically, that's all you need to know right there. They're admitting that this innovation, cryptocurrency in itself, is the future. It is the asset class that we've believed it is all along. People that have been ardent supporters of this asset class for years now, who've been believers in this for years, I think this is sort of, this is music to the ears of anyone like that, because this is what we've been saying all along. And you'll hear so many people, like Peter Schiff, for instance, say that cryptocurrency, digital assets are worthless, they're nothing, they're Ponzi schemes. And yet now we have the United States Secretary of the Treasury coming out and just discussing how the Treasury Department will release a report on the future of money and payment systems. So the statement then goes on to say, this work will complement ongoing efforts by Treasury. Already the department has worked with the President's Working Group on Financial Markets, the FDIC, and OCC to study one particular kind of digital asset, stablecoins. And so, I have some opinions on this. First of all, Stable coins very likely, especially the larger that they become, likely should have some type of regulation behind them. Because think about it this way. We always hear about a lot of talk about Tether. And is Tether trustworthy? Can we rely on Tether to actually stay pegged to the US dollar? Can we rely on Tether not to sort of fold under and leave everyone hanging dry? So think about this scenario. Imagine one of these stablecoins, and Tether is the easy example here because, of its prominence. Imagine if Tether were to go under. What sort of just disastrous effect on the asset class that would have? And, we've seen that Tether, the reports came out that Tether was backing a large quantity of their, the stablecoin with corporate debt assets. And, we've seen how this plays out before, and it's not always good. So we've seen that USDT was essentially backing a lot of, a lot of the asset with corporate debt. And so, we're being purely hypothetical here, but I'm just saying, if one of these stable coins were to go under for any reason, if they were not able to ensure that dollar that they were giving you, that would have an absolutely disastrous and domino effect upon not only cryptocurrency, but likely the broader economy, because a lot of people's wealth, a lot of very prominent individuals, their wealth is tied to the digital asset class. So these stable coins, they're going to continue to be a target. And quite frankly, I think that they likely should be, because one thing you do not want to see out of all things, would be something like Tether going under and not being able to back up that, the assurance that you think that you have in them of that USDT being worth $1. If that became unhinged, we would have such a major problem. I think you would see the entire asset class, if not crash, it would be majorly crippled. So to make the stable coins, to make there be assurances around them, to make them have making sure that they're backing up those assets with, something tangible, I think that's important. And, it sort of goes against the ethos of cryptocurrency. But I think it's going to be important to see them backing up those USDT that they're giving out with tangible assets. In fact, increasingly so, as the asset class rises in prominence, you're going to want to never see one of your major stablecoins go under. That would just have absolutely crushing effects on the entire crypto economy. So then finally, the last thing I wanted to point out is it says Treasury will work to promote a fairer, more inclusive, and more efficient financial system while building on our ongoing work to counter illicit finance and prevent risks to financial stability and national security. So I think that this is a perfect summary for essentially everything that this press release here says. That they're going to work to promote a fairer, more inclusive, and more efficient financial system. And I think that's simply the admission that the digital asset class, quite frankly, is a more fair, it's a more inclusive, and it's a more efficient, certainly it's a more efficient financial system. And I think that's just the admission of the innovation that this asset class brings. And it's very promising to see this sort of language. And, I think everything that we're seeing here is in general a positive. Now, we knew there was going to be regulation coming. So to sit here and say, no, this is terrible that they're regulating crypto at all, it's not, in my opinion. We know it's coming, and the alternative to what we're seeing here was going to be much, much worse. So ultimately, what implications does this have regarding the price of Bitcoin and the digital asset class as a whole? And I think that's simply put, who knows what it's going to do in the short term. We've obviously seen that it's being, it's being looked at positively right now, and it will continue to be looked at positively, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that just because we've seen this pump right now of up nearly 8%, that, like I said, it's going to go to all-time highs anytime soon. But what it does mean is it continues to open the door for the long-term vision that we all have for crypto, and it continues to allow us to continue on this growth trend that we've been on, if not accelerate that trend. Now, I wouldn't use this event to sort of FOMO in and, go all in right now, start dumping into altcoins just because, we're seeing a little pump in reaction to this news. Like I've said all the time, I dollar cost average every Friday. I don't know where the bottom is, so I'm always dollar cost averaging on Fridays, because when you're in a time of uncertainty, quite frankly, the bottom could be much lower than where we're at right now. And in that case, that's fine. I'll dollar cost average on that Friday also. Because in the short term, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the macroeconomic events are going to continue to play out. We all know that there's absolutely crushing inflation. And as you've seen with commodity prices, I hate to tell you guys, the cost of essentially everything is going to be rapidly increasing. We're looking at a time where we are about to enter a point where, we've already seen record level money printing, and we're now seeing record level prices on commodities. We are in it's a scary time in the economy as a whole right now. So there's a lot of uncertainty ahead. I think the market's going to continue to be turbulent. But at the end of the day, I think based on what you're seeing here, based on these comments that we've just discussed, things are, in the long run, very, very bright for this asset class. So that's it for this one, guys. If you guys like this type of content, hit like and subscribe. You could head over to the Discord channel where we do a lot of macroeconomic talk of both cryptocurrency and the markets in general. So until next time, as usual, see you.